Hey, John here. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can pretty much take any room that you have or a room that you'd like to have, change colors, change all sorts of things, and actually come up with some really clever approaches for new design ideas. Now, I want to preface this is that this is ChatGPT, and this has become really, really good at generating cool designs and working from like an existing room or photo. However, any redesigns, the dimensions are not going to be perfect, so you have to keep that in mind. So this is our base living room, and this is nice. It's a great room, standard stuff, and we're going to work off this. So the first thing that I wanted to do is let's just change one color, and the accent color. We went from navy to green, and all I had to do was type this in there. So you could just see my prompts here. That's why I'm doing it this way. It kind of just flows, and you just keep working off it. You don't have to keep uploading the same image back and forth, although sometimes I do that. But really, it turns into this really fun, cool, custom design project. And so we switched that over to green. So obviously you can see that you could upload any room in your house and you could just start playing around with it. I mean, we could even drill down, let's see here, same living room, change only the accent wall. Okay, so let's add in a secondary color there. And that's looking pretty good, although I prefer all one color, but that's just me. Now let's take it a step further. Let's inject some burgundy in the area rug to tie it together even a little bit more. It's coming along. I find these are kind of a bit contrast glaring. It's not really working well with this. I didn't do it, but I think the next one I would do would be like turn these into some sort of burgundy as well, or maybe burgundy and navy sort of pattern. All right, now let's lighten the wood floor and the ceiling beams to see what happens there. You can see it just does a perfect job. I mean, it's just so great. I mean, you could just take any room in your house or friend's house or wherever you're at and just get enormous amount of ideas. Now, I had all these prepared, so it looks like everything's done wicked fast, but it's not. It does take usually anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. So the next one here is like, let's just completely change up the accent colors completely to charcoal gray, cream, and muted gold. I never was a big gold fan, but I'm finding a lot, like when we look into trending designs and color schemes these days, and gold is falling in quite a bit, and that's kind of interesting. I was never a big fan, but I think when used and done well, it can actually look really, really good. I like injecting little bits of metallic in your more traditional rustic and type or cozy type decor. It just adds another layer, and you can see that really nicely in this because this is really more of a typical. I think I asked to create a transitional farmhouse great room is the style that I asked it to create. And I thought it did a really nice job, which kind of leans rustic, not entirely. But when you add in the gold, it gives it just a bit of a sheen, and I like that look. And I'm not the only one. All right, now let's keep the same living room, same color scheme. Let's make it moodier. That's all I basically said. I probably could have done this, just said make it moodier, okay? And it did an okay job. I think it really just sort of adjusted the lighting rather than did much with the decor. Now I didn't say go ahead and switch furniture, which you might want to try too. Be like completely redesign this living room for a much moodier look if you like the moody look. I don't mind it. Now let's do this. Now this is an interesting one, and just out of curiosity, that you might find interesting is I actually published quite a bit of stuff about um, happiness designs or designs that inspire happiness. And these are inordinately popular on social media, which is really interesting because it's clearly something that people are like, I wonder what a happy decor looks like. Well, here's AI's version of it. And now, once again, I probably should have said, go ahead and swap out the furniture and everything, but I didn't. So what it did is it stuck with the pretty much everything same and just changed the colors a little bit and added some home decor. But you can see that this clearly falls under more of a happier look than our moody look. So I just find what AI is going to interpret as fascinating, and not that I discredit what human beings do, because I think what they do is obviously really amazing too. But AI is basically an amalgamation of all or a lot of the information on the internet. So it's compressing and analyzing all this. So it's multiple viewpoints and articles, and obviously some of it's garbage in there, some of it's brilliant, and then it fuses it all together, and this is what it comes up with. So now this is one of my favorite ones. We said make it cozy. Now, obviously, clearly, this is why cozy and anything cozy is very popular on the internet. A lot of people like that look. And I thought it did a really nice job here. Uh, and then the last one was more rustic. I think it did a really nice job here. This is almost becoming a little bit cartoonish. Uh, it's extremely over the top rustic. I Again, it's a style a lot of people like. I think this would be a little bit overdone for me, unless maybe it's a ski lodge. All right, so now what I did is, and you can do this. This is not going to show up super clear on the video here. Is explain each design. So what is it about? When I said what make it a moodier room. Okay, well, what exactly did you do? And so with darker, richer color palette, darker stained wood, low warm lighting. So yeah, lighting affects the mood tremendously. Textured, heavier fabrics and artwork. So this is a really useful approach here, right? Because then we could take let's say you like the cozier room. That's probably my favorite of the four. And you could take these items here and you could use them in other redesigns or with the existing, and you can keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper until you find exactly what you're looking for. So these are our basic descriptions of what AI essentially did to come up with the different designs. All right, so I asked it to write it all out here. I guess you could pause the video. I won't waste your time reading all that. Next, can you change up the furniture and anything except layout and walls? Make this room ideal design. Now, what I did here, if you're looking at using AI to create your own stuff, and I really encourage you to do, this is I should also say, this is a paid ChatGPT version. You can do some designs in free, but you're probably going to hit a cap pretty quickly because images burn up a lot of resources. So this is a $20 per month account. I suspect if I start doing this like all day, every day, I'm going to hit at least some sort of a cap and may even have to further upgrade. But you can do a lot for the $20. And a lot of the AI software out there costs quite a bit more. Not only do they have a monthly fee, but they're going to have a credit cost on top of that. So this is actually a really good deal. And if you're in the middle of renovating or redesigning or anything, $20 a month to get all of these ideas is pretty much free. Like, it's a no-brainer. All right, now next, change up the furniture and anything except the layout. So basically right here is, before I was saying, hey, listen, you gotta stick with the exact furniture and the layout that we're doing here. Now I'm saying, hey, let's have a little bit more fun. Let's swap out the furniture in the same living room and see what materializes. Now, this is an angle I find fascinating when it comes to design, and that is injecting personality type. Now, this is in particular is the Myers-Briggs. I'm an INTJ, and so I use that, and it's a personality. There's 16. You can go Google it or whatever and figure it all out and learn about it. You might think it's total nonsense. You might be a believer, whatever it is. If you're a believer, I think it's really interesting to figure out what your personality type, and then see what AI will interpret that as a design. And actually, I really like this, and I'm an INTJ. Now, does that mean like all INTJs in the world, of which there's going to be, I don't know, obviously hundreds of millions probably, are they all going to like this design? No, because it's ridiculous, right? So, but it's actually one I like. Now, you could take that. We did all the bullet points there. What is it about INTJ design? And it goes through that. It explains it. You can ask ChatGPT yourself with your own personality type. Now, here's another angle. Now, I'm not really into astrology whatsoever, but I know millions of people are. And I thought, well, I'm a Libra. Let's see what a Libra would get. So this is interesting. I'm both an INTJ and a Libra. This is what, if I go by astrology, this is the living room design that would is ideal for me from a Libra perspective, and this is the design from an INTJ. Vastly different designs, right? And I fall under both types of personality types. So, obviously, and I do prefer the first one over this one. I don't care for this look at all, really. So, and then I said, tell me exactly what it is about Libra that you used to create the design. Libra: balance, beauty, sociability, romance, restrained, luxury. Okay. Now, I thought this was an interesting one. Let's take both INTJ and Libra and create a design between the two. And this is what I came up with. And this, interestingly enough, is my favorite. I thought the pure INTJ was very masculine, leaning toward industrial, which I kind of like. The pure Libra was just way too pastel-y and soft and feminine for my liking. But this blends the two really nicely, and this would be my favorite of the three. So the point here is don't go out and just do personality types or astrology or whatever. Is think outside the box about different approaches that you think might help you come up with the ultimate design. Don't just get hedged into colors and interior design styles and that sort of thing. Think about emotions, think about psychology, think about what it is that you do, think about your family size. You could say, hey, what would be the ultimate seating arrangement for a family of 6, right? 4 kids and 2 adults who actually use the space. They might come up with a different seating arrangement than would be normally. So you could think about this and approach this with AI. This is why AI is just so ridiculously cool with anything design is, and you may not always agree with it because it's doing its own interpretation based on absolutely massive amounts of information that it's consumed. So you may not always agree with it, but I can tell you this, it will give you ideas. And I think it's great. I mean, could I come up with an INTJ design? I probably could. It wouldn't be easy because you're taking sort of like a abstract personality concept, a psychological concept, and trying to infuse that into design. And I could do it, and probably what I would come up with would be considerably different than what some other interior designer would come up with. And that's why I like AI. Now, would a different AI come up with a different design for INTJ? Yeah, probably. And if you're really serious about this, you might go and explore some of that. But for if you're just wanting to get ideas until you come up with that, oh yeah, that's a design for me, then just work with one AI and go from there. All right, so then I asked it to set out, what it is about this design that meets the fusion of Libra and INTJ. And of course, as usual, it came out with a ton of stuff. I like it when it kind of distills things. INTJ, does this have purpose? Libra, yes, but does it look beautiful? It needs to do both. Okay, good. Yeah, that's kind of like an INTJ question, I can tell you that. All right, now we're going to go back to the original design. Let's change up the furniture so that's a sectional. All right, so I didn't give any further instructions, and that was my mistake. You usually want to be pretty clear about your prompts. So this would be a prompt fail, because who on earth would put the sectional facing? I mean, typically it would face the fireplace. Now, we don't know here if there's a TV there, and it's possible. And I wouldn't put a TV in this room. I would probably have windows there, and I suspect there are windows there. So I would want the sectional to face the fireplace. All right, so then we did that here, and this is a much nicer look. Right, this actually works well. It's a huge sectional. Plus, we've added a couple of armchairs there. Now, I thought we'd go through here and see, redesign it. Now what I did is let's redesign it into a fusion of popular styles. And we did Japandi and ski lodge style, and this is what it came up with. And it's not much different than this, really. But you could see it. I would probably, Japandi and ski lodge are kind of like these contradictory styles in a lot of ways, except for the fact that they both use a fair amount of natural materials, particularly wood. And so you do see that here, but I'm not really seeing one or the other here, which I guess is the point of the fusion. So in that regard, it worked. Now, this was an interesting one. Let's blend glam style with French country. Look what I came up with. That's certainly not anything I'm interested in, but possibly somebody would like that style. Now, let's see, return to the original design. Now, this is another approach you could take. And I don't think AI does a really good job with it, so I certainly wouldn't basically rely on this approach, but it's the budget approach. Let's redesign it, ultra luxury, assuming a $500,000 budget, just for fun. Okay, we're gonna take this room, we're gonna throw 500 grand. This is what it came up with. Yeah, it looks like you spent a lot of money, but it's gaudy and it's just ostentatious, and it's just not really a great design, at least in my view. All right, now let's go the opposite and let's see what a $5,000 budget would look like. Now, this is what it came up with. This is ridiculous because there's no way that this is $5,000. It's way more. But that did spark, and this is another point. When you're doing this, you're just kind of going through these threads here and creating your spaces like this, just in one ongoing thread that ChatGPT can remember previously what was going on, is you'll get just a lot more ideas as you're doing it. You're just like, oh, I wonder if we do this. I wonder if we do that. I didn't start this out thinking, I'm going to do, not only am I go for a $5,000 version, but hey, let's see if it's IKEA throughout, and then what? So I said, let's do IKEA throughout. Now, I didn't specify. This was another prompt fail in this case. So when you reference a merchant, it's usually good to specify. Now, actually go to the merchant website, and ChatGPT can read websites unless they're blocked. Go to the merchant website. Most merchants don't block AI because they want AI to send them traffic. So you go and you say, go to the IKEA website, find the pieces and put them in there. So I didn't do that with this prompt, and it was a fail. You could see here, it kind of looks like IKEA furniture, but nothing there is specifically IKEA furniture. But it did give me the idea. It's like, well, if we do it with our IKEA, let's do it with Restoration Hardware, which is much higher end. This is what I came up with. Again, prompt fail. I didn't specify. So I fixed that here. Can you list out? And then it basically, I was testing it and it said, no, I was guessing visually. Okay, so that's what happened there. So here, let's do a real IKEA makeover. And this is what it came up with. And a real Restoration Hardware. And it actually lists out the items. Now, this is really interesting. And unfortunately, it wouldn't split up the images in two for me, and despite me trying, as you'll see. But what's really interesting is it's like, Restoration Hardware is expensive. I'll even show you the budget here if I can open that up. No, it didn't do that. I have the budget lower down here. The budget is enormously different, as you can well imagine. I mean, stuff at Restoration Hardware is very expensive. I love Restoration Hardware, it looks good, but it's very expensive. And I buy IKEA stuff because, I mean, for the value for stuff, it's good, especially that stuff with real wood. We tend to look for the real wood. You pay a little bit more, but the quality is excellent for the price. But anyways, this is IKEA versus Restoration Hardware. Makes you wonder if, spending, and I think it's the difference like 50 grand or something. We'll get that here. I was getting a little frustrated because I was like, well, can you break it all down? And then it did that here. I was trying to get it to separate the images separately, but it wouldn't do that. So you might not be able to do that as well. But you can see here, I'm going to blow this up, but we're looking at 76 grand for there and 7 grand for the IKEA. Now, I didn't go through with a fine-tooth comb looking at every item here that might have been in there, whether they're accurate. But my hunch is if you did all this to both rooms, yeah, probably $7,500 would handle it with the IKEA. Now, it doesn't include the kitchen. It's just the furnishings. And, well, I've never decorated an entire space with just Restoration Hardware that I own. So I'll take it. Yeah, I'll believe it when it says $76,000. It's quite a difference. All right. So then I kind of went through it, broke it all down here. We don't need to go through any of that. I tried to get it again, just separate it as two different images, just wasn't doing it. So AI is really cool to do lots of stuff, but it won't do everything that you want it to do. Now for the grand finale, and this was a bit frustrating, but research the web for recent articles and come up with transformations of space so that it is a top trending design for 2006. I said do 5 of them, 5 different styles, all trending, very popular among designers. All right, so basically AI, you're trusting it's going to read just articles from this year, and we're coming into fall. Let's see what AI comes up with, what's trending for fall. Now, most people would never design a room to trend for a season. They'll decorate it for a season. They obviously will decorate it for Christmas, but it always be like, I want my living room to be perfect for fall 2026. That's not really how I approach, but hey, just for kicks, let's see what's trending. And so far, this is what it did. It wouldn't split them up again, which annoyed me, but these are the different looks all in the same living room. You see some similarities across it all. I veer toward more bold, so I would lean toward this one and this one rather than these, which are all relatively similar. So here's the fall specifically. This is where it got. We're talking chocolate brown, maroon oxblood, these colors here, and elevated rustic crafted lodge. That's what it came up with the research. Is that true? I don't know. You could go do your own research. I tend to put a fair amount of stock and accuracy into AI because heck, it reads and can scan a lot more information than I can in any given day. I was still trying to get it to split up here. We've got a new look here with this here. Let me see here. Can you pretty see? Now it kind of injected a new design here, more of a lodge, so it didn't even stick to it. So this was somewhat inconsistent, and it's suggesting that these are trending. Now, when it starts being inconsistent, that's when you're sort of like, I wonder how accurate this is. And it's the same as if you ask AI to add particular items of furniture from a particular store in there. It may do that, but you'll want to click through on the links just to verify that it did actually pull the correct one, because while AI is awesome, it's not close to perfect at this point. Now, it's claiming that it followed these parameters for trending for fall 2026. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's something you'd want to look more into. But, in my view, when it comes to design, I'm not really interested in designing for a trend that's happening this year. I'm interested in a particular look that I like, and that we like, and that's going to work for us. And I think most people do that. They're not going to spend 10, 20, $30,000 on a room that is very, very trendy and potentially temporary. All right, so there we've got, these are our sort of 5 collected new traditional. I don't even know what that really means. It might just be making stuff up. I probably believe that the colors are correct, but then these colors are always popular for living rooms. Rustic, crafted lodge. I don't know, has that ever gone out? It's kind of like one of those timeless designs, right? So I take any of the trending stuff with a grain of salt, big time. Now here's the last thing I did, and then we're done here. What I did is what did I do here? I asked it to do one. Yeah, I kept trying to get it to split up. Okay, now here's the one that I did. And I'm not really wild about it, but I said, take all your trending research and design. So this is the poster child fall 2026, include any different colors, etc., etc. This is what it came up with. Now, this actually really falls in line with those 5 bullet points with the color schemes and the new traditional and what it set out. And I won't go back up there and show you. It definitely is following that. So if those are indeed the trending styles for 2026, and again, trending is kind of ridiculous because there's probably trending in the contemporary realm, which this is not even close to, and so forth. So there's many different trending styles. But if we take it all together and we want to come up with one poster child design for fall 2026, this is what AI generated. I'm not particularly enamored with this design, but some people are. And if you want your living room to look fall 2026, here you go. Thanks for watching.